Yeah, hi everyone. This is Ashmita from Sources Classes. In today's class, we are going to discuss questions which are based on this year's UPSC 2022 paper, that is from Paper 1. Now, here we are going to solve only 5 questions today. Why? Because the explanations are quite long. The video will become unnecessarily big if we try to just put together all the questions and all the explanations. So what we are doing is that we are producing a series of videos. So if you follow our channel, you will get all these videos properly, and you can just get all the answers also. So let me tell you before starting that we at Sources Classes, we are providing courses for preparation for any kind of entrance examinations, as well as for any kind of competitive examinations. So this year UPSC, many of you might have given and you're waiting for the answer. You have just finished off with the UPSC paper 1, that is general studies paper. So here I'm going to provide you with the solutions as well as explanations from question number 31 till 35. So 5 questions for each videos we are doing it, so that you can just get into all the elaborate details of each of the questions that was given in the question paper. Let us consider the first question, that is question number 31. It says Aragya Setu, that's an app we have used a lot in the COVID times. Then we have this COVID app. Then this also has been used a lot many times. Then DigiLocker and Diksha. Okay, so they are asking which of the above are built on top of open source digital platforms. Okay. Now, before going over to the options and discussing about all of these, definitely we are going to go through each of these options that are provided over here. But before that, we need to know what are open source digital platforms. Now, an open source platform is any platform that allows access to its source code to any other users or developers. Okay. Now, an open source platform is one aspect of a wide availability of open source products. Now, in contrast with a closed source software, which is a type of proprietary software that reserves the rights only to the authorized individuals, open source software, what does it do? It aims to allow equal access to anyone and everyone. Okay, so open source products are oftentimes they are part of the free software movement. The Associated Free Software Foundation, which is founded by Richard Stallman in 1985, it's rather than being concerned with the cost of the software, the free software movement and associated foundation aim to ensure that software users are free to run the software and study the software, to modify the software, and also share such modifications. Alright. However, not all open source platforms are part of this free software movement, but they are almost always part of the open source software movement. So you all have come to know about this open source digital platforms. What are they? Now we are going to discuss about each of these options, starting with the Arogya Setu. Arogya Setu is India's core, we have gone through a lot of pandemic, that is the coronavirus COVID-19 contact tracing and self-assessment app, which is still now open in India. It's a part of open source, okay, open source digital platform. What about COVID? Now, COVID is it's basically owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which was developed using the open source software. And this type of software allows the users to modify the source code as well as to distribute it. Okay. Now moving over to DigiLocker. Now DigiLocker is an initiative which is taken by the government to offer Indian citizens a free platform to store and access the important documents. Now, the platform uses several open source technologies to deliver a mass solution and also contributes back to the ever growing community. What about Diksha? Now, Diksha is built using Sunbird ED, which is a fully functional solution building block which is available as open source software under the MIT license. And it's also a part of Sunbird, which is made in India, made for World Digital Platform Good. Over here, we have discussed about all these four options. So, of course, all these four options are a part of open source digital platforms. So number D would be your correct answer. Okay, so including number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's move over to the next question. The next question says, with reference to Web 3.0, consider the following statements. Web 3.0 technology enables people to control their own data. Okay, in Web 3.0 world, there can be blockchain-based social networks. Okay, what about number 3? Web 3.0 is operated by users collectively rather than a corporation. So, with reference to Web 3.0, all these are going, okay, so all these are correct options. So we would be choosing all the three options which is shown in number D. So number D is your correct answer. Now, let me talk about Web 3.0. Now, Web 3.0 is the next version of the internet, which where the services will be run on blockchain. Now, it is a decentralized internet that will run on a public blockchain, which will also be used for cryptocurrency transactions. Now, this Web 3.0 technology would be permissionless and democratic, which is very good for our country. Like, for instance, Twitter will not be able to censor the posts and Facebook will not be able to maintain a database of billions of users that can be potentially used to influence the elections. In a Web 3.0 universe, people will control their own data and will be able to move around from social media to email to shopping using a single personalized account, creating a public record on the blockchain of all of that activity. All the data will be interconnected in a decentralized way. Unlike the current generation of the internet, that is Web 2.0, it's going on, where data is mostly stored in centralized repositories. So, three key features of this Web 3.0 include ubiquity, then semantic web, then artificial intelligence, that's AI, and 3D graphics. Now, I would like to give you certain examples of this Web 3.0. Now, the most recent example of Web 3.0 are the NFTs, or we can say it's the non-fungible tokens. All right. Hence, we can consider that all the statements which are provided over here are correct. Moving over to the next question, that is question number 33. It says, with reference to software as a service, consider the following statements. Now, in short, we call it SaaS. Okay, SaaS buyers can customize the user interface and can change the data fields. Okay, next statement says SaaS users can access their data and through their mobile devices. And number 3 statement says Outlook, Hotmail, and Yahoo Mail are forms of SaaS. So, which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect, and why? Which of the statements can we consider under software as a service, that is SaaS? So, first of all, what we are going to consider is, or what we are rather going to discuss about, is software as a service, that is SaaS. What is the SaaS all about? Now, software as a service, or SaaS in short form we say, it allows the users to connect to and use cloud-based apps over the internet. Common examples include email that we all do. That's very common thing that we use every day, like day-to-day works are done in emails. Then you see this calendaring is there. Then office tools such as Microsoft Office, so many other apps are there. Now we are going to discuss whether this statement number 1 is correct or not. Okay, just go through the statement once, then I'll be telling you whether it's correct or not. Now, talking about this SaaS buyers. Now SaaS provides a complete software solution which you can purchase on a pay-as-you-go basis from a cloud service provider. You can rent the use of an app for your organization and your users can connect to it over the internet, usually with a web browser. So this statement is incorrect. Okay, so sentence number 1, we are considering it to be incorrect. What about sentence number 2? Sentence number 2 says SaaS users can access their data through mobile devices. Now, just listen to this one, that we're talking about number 2 statement, that is access app data from anywhere can be. Now, this will definitely help in accessing app data from anywhere, alright? Like with data stored in the cloud, users can access their information from any internet connected computer or any mobile device. And when app data is stored in the cloud, no data is lost if a user's computer or device fails. So, of course, statement 2 is correct. What about the third statement? It says Outlook, Hotmail, and Yahoo Mail are forms of SaaS. So let's take a look at the statement once again. Now, for statement number 3, I'm saying if you have used a web-based email service such as Outlook, if you have used, or Hotmail, or Yahoo Mail if you have used, then you have already used a form of SaaS. So with these services, you log into your account over the internet, often from a web browser, and the email software is located on the service provider's network, and your messages are stored there as well. You can access your email and stored messages from a web browser on any computer or any internet connected device. So therefore, we can say option number 3 is definitely correct, because you see all these comes under forms of SaaS. Okay, so we will consider number. Now coming back to the discussion of statement number 1, it will be correct. I just told you that it's wrong, but it would be correct because it really helps the buyers to customize the user interface and to change the data fields. Okay, so this will also be correct. So we will consider option number D to be the correct option because it considers all of them. That is number 1 also, number 2 also, and number 3 also. Alright, let's move over to the next question. Question says, which one of the following statements best reflects the idea behind the fractional orbital bombardment system, which is often talked about in media? Now, what is this fractional orbital bombardment system? First of all, this is a warhead delivery system that uses a low Earth orbit towards the target destination. Just before reaching the target, it deorbits through a retrograde engine burn. Okay, so the idea behind this fractional orbital bombardment system is it's a warhead which is put into a stable orbit and it deorbits over the target. Now, if the target and the launch position is lined up and the warhead keeps going round, it will complete a circle. Obviously, with the Earth moving during this, it is more of a spiral than a ring. But the horizontal movement is counted in such a way that the warhead still goes over the target. So with this explanation, I would like to go with number C as the correct option. That is, a missile is put into a stable orbit around the Earth and deorbits over a target on the Earth. Alright, this is the correct option. The last question for today's class that we are going to do is, which one of the following is the context in which the term qubit is mentioned? Okay. They have talked about cloud services, quantum computing, visible light communication technologies, and wireless communication technologies. Now, let us talk about each of these. first. Okay. Now your correct answer would be quantum computing. Now we are going to discuss in details what comes under quantum computing. Now this quantum supremacy, we are talking about quantum computing. Quantum supremacy was coined in the year 2011 by John Prescott, okay, who is the professor of theoretical physics at the California Institute of Technology. He is the physics professor of the California Institute of Technology. He just coined this term, and quantum supremacy refers to a problem solving process by the quantum computer that cannot be solved by a classical computer in its normal lifetime. This concept is related to the speed of which a quantum computer performs, alright? And quantum computers are just different from the binary electronic, digital electronic computers that are based on transistors. Now, what is a transistor? It is a semiconductor device which is used to amplify or just switch the electronic signals and the electrical power. Now, the common digital computing requires the data to be encoded into binary digits or bits, each of which is always in one of the two definite states, that is either in binary digit of 0 or binary digit of 1. So, quantum computation uses quantum bits, or you can say qubits. Like qubits, it's already mentioned over here. They use qubit or quantum bits, we can say. This is qubit, Q-U-B-I-T, qubit or quantum bits. Now this quantum bit, let us talk about quantum bit now. This quantum bit or qubit is the smallest unit of quantum information, which is the quantum analog of the regular computer bit, which is used in the field of quantum computing. Now they operate according to two key principles of quantum physics, that is superposition and entanglement. Okay, so superposition means that each qubit can represent either 1 or 0, that is those are the binary digits at the same time. And entanglement means that the qubits in a superposition state can be correlated with each other. That is the state of one qubit, whether it is a 1 or a 0 can depend on the state of another qubit. Now, this means that the particles remain connected to each other so that the actions performed on one affect the other. Now, even when separated by great distances, it will affect each other. So this phenomenon is named by Albert Einstein. He calls this phenomenon as spooky action at a distance, because each of these two digits are just using these two principles, qubits can act as more sophisticated switches, enabling the quantum computers to function in ways that allow them to solve the difficult problems that are unmanageable using today's computers. So that's it for today's class. We have discussed a lot about the 5 questions that we have done in details and elaborate a manner I have explained it to you. So if you have any further questions, you can post it in the comment box below. And if you want to enroll in our classes for live sessions or recorded lectures or any kind of portal access or mock tests or live sessions or doubt clearing sessions or crash course facilities or scholarship facilities, or if you need study materials, do call us at the number which is provided in the description box or at the starting of the video. So that's it for today's class. You can also take a glimpse of our classes or know more about our classes through www.saurabhsclasses.com. So that's it for today's class. We're going to meet once again with the other question solutions in our next videos and next classes.